Alright, we're going to be going over what penny auctions are and how they work. So if you've just heard about this whole penny auction thing, then you need to watch this. Okay. Now, are penny auction websites scams? The answer is no, they're just a different method of selling products to customers. But how can they possibly sell items so cheap? Well, penny auction websites can sell items for as low as 1 penny because their main source of income is mostly from bids. See, they're not just selling the items themselves, they're selling the bid packs that you need to actually bid on the items. And customers must purchase these bid packs to participate in the penny auction websites. So you pay a small amount for each bid you place, and if you're the winning bidder when the item ends, then the item is yours. So, are penny auctions considered gambling? It's really only gambling if you do it blindly. So really, don't just jump into penny auctions and start throwing bids everywhere if you don't know what you're doing. It's best to start slow. Bidding at penny auction sites has become a learned skill, and there are always ways to majorly increase your chances of winning. So it's not like you're really just gambling like at a casino or something. There's more to it than just throwing out money and hoping you win. Now, what is the basic concept of penny auctions? Well, bidders buy bid packs where each bid is worth around 60 cents depending on the website. Some penny auctions charge $1 per bid, or it could go higher or lower, but it's usually around 60 cents. And then an item goes on an auction starting at either 0 or just 1 cent. And then each bid raises the price by 1 penny. So basically each time someone clicks to bid on something, it'll go up 1 cent. And then seconds are added to the timer with every bid to give more people an opportunity to bid. So it's not like eBay where you can wait for the very last second and then bid and win. Nope, every time someone bids, the timer goes back up. Most of the time it just adds 20 seconds or 10 seconds, maybe even 5 seconds. It depends on the site, and usually once the item reaches a certain price, it'll go down to like 10 seconds. But anyways, when the timer stops, the winning bidder gets the item at the price the auction ended at. So, take this iPad for instance. The iPad 2, well, the base iPad is worth $4.99, and that's just for the Wi-Fi edition with 16 gigs, I believe. But anyways, I'm sure you've seen the ads for these shopping sites that show people that got the iPad for around like $28. It always varies. Sometimes they say, oh, get your iPad 2 for $7. But I'm sure you've seen ridiculous prices like this, and you probably think to yourself, oh, it's got to be some kind of scam. You'll never get an iPad 2 for $28. And before you realize the concept of these penny auctions, like, it really does seem impossible. I mean, really, there's no way to sell an iPad 2 for $28 and profit off of it. So how do these penny auction websites do it? Well, it's really simple once you learn what they're really doing. So basically, if the item sells for $28.37, that's a total of 2,837 bids that were placed on that item. And considering that each bid is worth 60 cents, that would bring the penny auction to a total of 17,000, over 17,000. So the money these sites make alone just from the bids that people place gets really ridiculous, and it's really a genius concept that I'm sure there are thousands of people that wish they came up with this idea first. But they don't sell the iPad 2 for $28. They're well, I mean, they do sell it for $28.37, but they're really making over $17,000 just in the bids. So the customer gets an iPad for $28 and the seller makes $17,000. So yeah, it's kind of like a win-win situation, don't you think? But the only problem is, if you didn't win the item, you'll leave with nothing. Basically, all these people bid and pay money to bid, and the winner leaves with the prize at a ridiculously good price, and everyone else kind of just moves on to the next auction. So that's why it is very important to actually win. But there are a lot of safe ways that the penny auction sites have made to make it so you don't completely lose out. For example, if you spent like $300 in bids trying to win the iPad and you didn't win it, you can take that amount that you spent in bids and basically just pay off the rest to buy the iPad at the regular retail price. Most penny auction sites have the Buy It Now feature, like Quibids does. So it's basically like, if you don't get the item at a ridiculously good price, you can, in the worst case scenario, have to buy it at the retail price. Which then, if you really want, you could just take it and sell it on eBay to get your money back and try again. Which is what a lot of people do. But there are ways to win at penny auctions. Different strategies that make it a lot easier and give you a better chance of winning. But you must first get the feel of how penny auctions work before you go jumping into heated auctions. And never go for the big, awesome items if you're just starting out or if you're new to penny auctions. If you don't know what you're doing, you can go in there and lose a lot of money before you know it. So practice on smaller auctions that get less attention so you have a better chance of winning. You might not want to go for that iPad 2 just yet, because everybody wants an iPad 2 and there's going to be lots of people bidding on it, and sometimes these auctions can go for 24 hours or more. So if you're shooting for a big item like that, you're going to want to make sure you have plenty of bids to back you up and have your schedule clean for at least a day. Unless you really know what you're doing, or you have the software that's available to bid automatically. And there are also days of the week and hours of the day that it is best to bid on auctions. Like Tuesday and Wednesdays are good, weekends bad, Sunday very bad. Stay away from Sunday because everybody's online on Sunday. So think of times that you think that most people would be either sleeping or at work, and also take in other countries into consideration. Some penny auctions allow multiple countries around the world onto these, and everybody has different sleeping hours. But there's literally hundreds of methods and things to keep in your head while you're bidding on these auctions. There are tons of tricks that the pros use to incredibly increase their chances of winning, and a lot of people actually make a living off penny auction sites. So, Quibids is one of the most popular and trusted penny auction websites that I have used and that I know of. There are tons of them and new ones come out all the time, but Quibids was always one of my favorites, actually probably my favorite, because they have tons of auctions going on all at once, and it's easier to find items that have less attention because there's just so many going on at one time. And if you want to get the ultimate edge to win at Quibids, there is an app that's made for it called the Bid Pro app, and this app will be added to your browser to show you all the information you need to win an auction. For example, the item's final price, all of the other bidders that are bidding on that item, how long they've been bidding, how much they spent so far, and just a lot more. There's tons of information that they give. It's basically just like this huge database that has all the info on current and past auctions that the penny auction websites don't want you to know. See, they hide a lot of stuff from bidders so that they bid more. They really want to keep their bidders blind to any form of strategy they could come up with. Of course, there are still ways to win with strategy, but if you use the Bid Pro app, you get all of the information, and it multiplies your chances of winning by like 100. Seriously, if I didn't have it, I'd feel naked, and I'd probably just quit Quibids altogether. But anyways, if you want the Bid Pro app, you can just go to bit.ly/